5 scary ghost videos that'll make you say, ooh. Land of the Dead. Waikamete Cemetery is New Zealand's largest cemetery. It occupies a site of just over 100 hectares. It's so large in fact that the surrounding suburb of Glen Eden in Auckland City is based around the cemetery itself, as it was established first in 1886. Its location was decided by the proximity of the nearby Glen Eden railway station, as access by railway was desired even back then. It's also the final resting place for over 70,000 souls, including people who died serving in both world wars, and victims of the Spanish influenza epidemic in 1918 that killed over 5,000 people in the area. The cemetery is regarded as one of the most haunted spots in the country of New Zealand, and has had over 50 reported sightings over the years. Ghost hunters Michael Hollows, Brad Hills and Caroline Taylor starred in a TV show called Ghost Hunt that aired in New Zealand back in 2005. The 10-episode series showed the group of 3 travelling the length of the country exploring the supposed most haunted spots, with Waikamete Cemetery being one of them. Brad would typically sit in the back of the team's vehicle while the other 2, equipped with cameras, were sent out to explore. In this particular episode, the team arrived to get a little background on the spirits that supposedly roam the cemetery and the surrounding area.
The cafe is actually built on the old railway station, which, hey, guess what, it's haunted.
Well, it would be, wouldn't it?
Exactly. It's haunted by a guy called Alec McFarlane. And the deal with this guy is he used to take the mail off the trains when it came in. The guard on the train would hang it up on a metal hook, and he'd be there to take it off as the train went past. And of course, one day he wasn't looking and bang, copped it right between the eyes. Now, apparently, he is still seen on the platform, and he's quite often seen looking at the timetables, waiting for the trains to come in. So hopefully, you'll see him tonight.
Daylight turns to night and the team spends hours investigating and exploring the land in almost complete darkness. It's not until the end of the night or early morning do the team start going through their footage. Of course, as they are doing this though, they come across a few things that they can't really explain, including photos of the cemetery filled with orbs, and this.
And that was a photograph that I took. These 2 here are tombstones, and then this odd figure in the middle, which kind of looks like a guy wearing a hat, if I could be so bold.
Right. So it's definitely, it's not a tombstone.
Well, that's what I was thinking. As it turns out, earlier on, when I go down and I take photographs and do a recce, if you like, of trying to figure out where I'm going to put all the different equipment, that was the photo that I took, because I knew that's where I was going to place the tri-field meter. And there's just nothing in there that would indicate that it would be another tombstone.
Okay.
So I can't figure out what this figure is that seems to be rising up from the ground.
Do you think it could be, if I can pose the question, that might be, say, the ghost of Alexander McFarlane?
It could well be. It was down in the area of his grave. And why he'd be down there, I would have thought he'd be up on the platform.
Well, that's where his tragedy occurred.
Creeped out by all of this, the team suggest or play with the idea that this could potentially be Alexander McFarlane, the former railway employee who lost his life on the train platform. However, they quickly move on from this and show what they captured from one of their stationary cameras while Caroline was inside the small cafe up on the platform.
Now when you're inside, you walk out of the kitchen, you can see your shadow disappears.
Yes.
And watch the window in the background on the right-hand side.
It might have just been a person.
But this is the wide shot, and there's no person that walks past because there's a camera that's right there. And then I also have this camera, which is pointing straight at that window. And you'll see your torch shine inside, so that's you inside. And then you go out of the room, and there's nothing. I would have assumed if a person walked past, they would have to walk in between the camera and the window.
It looks very transparent, though.
It does look very transparent.
Solid form.
How strange. I didn't like the kitchen, though. I really didn't like the kitchen. I remember saying just shining my torch even through the windows was quite disconcerting because I half expected to see a face through the window.
Well, that's what we got.
Well, I'm glad I didn't see it at the time. I was sort
Lucky
of...
you'd left.
ran it like a screaming girl.
I would have thought that Waikamete Cemetery would be a very calm place because it's where people are at rest, but I think we've proved otherwise and maybe even found the spirit of Mr. Alexander McFarlane.
So, could either of these mysterious supposed sightings made by the ghost hunt team show proof of Alexander McFarlane, the man who accidentally got hit by a train? Or anyone else for that matter? Or was the show just simply edited in a way to trick or fool a lot of people that the cemetery was in fact haunted by a number of so-called ghosts? Real or fake? Who knows? I still thought it was kinda creepy and wanted to show you guys. If you want to watch the full episode and see a couple of things that I may or may not have left out, the link for that will be in the description below as always. Devil's Hour. This next video comes to us from a YouTube channel that was started barely 3 months ago and has only a dozen videos. The three-man team, known as 204 File, are from Taiwan and have been producing videos on anything related to haunted houses, haunted shrines, and everything ghosts. They also appear to take a realistic view into the spiritual world when exploring these so-called haunted buildings. In this particular video of theirs, they adventure through what they call a foreign workers' dormitory, which is where nearby factory workers used to live and sleep. Besides hearing a noise coming from the other end of a corridor, the team of 3 didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary. They start a spirit box session and make an attempt to communicate with anything that may occupy the building, but they get no real luck or responses. An hour or so passes by and the 3 men explore more and more of the building, and it's really not until they enter one particular room and do they start to hear some odd noises.
这一罐就是之前人家探险节目有特别介绍跟带到的，是不是？那天啊，哇塞，是敲门是吧？
Strangely, as they're examining a jar of eyeballs, they hear what sounds like 3 loud knocks coming from a door they've just walked through just minutes earlier. Not only that, but they notice the door has slightly moved or opened a little, despite there being no wind at all. The men decide to move on and they try the spirit box once again, but are interrupted by an odd sound and the same door moving again. The same thing happens 3 or 4 times over a period of a couple of hours. However, it's not until about 3:30 AM do they unknowingly record something on a camera that they had placed on the floor.
然后我这边拍完了。
Now, the 3 men were in the building alone for hours on end, so what in the world is this? The door seemingly moves by itself, not once but a bunch of times, and then this thing darts away and into the darkness. Judging by the likes on this video, I can only imagine that their viewers believe what they recorded that night could be something paranormal, or at least very creepy. I suggest checking out their channel if you want to change from the same old videos. The dozen or so videos they do have are pretty spooky. The town of Rodney. This next video comes to us from MindSeed TV, who in March of this year uploaded a video of themselves traveling to a small town in Mississippi. The abandoned town known as Rodney is known in the area to be haunted, and locals often suggest people not to visit. Despite hearing all of this, the guys over at MindSeed TV still wanted to check it out. Problem was, most of the town and surrounding area was flooded up to a mile away. This meant Casey and Tanner would have to walk this distance in almost waist-high swamp water, possibly filled with snakes and gators. The further the men walked through the water, the darker it got. The 2 men made it to dry land, where they had to walk through the woods for a couple of 100 feet before finally making it to the town of Rodney. Casey and Tanner then find the old building that they had been searching for and decide to explore it once and for all. They both head upstairs in an attempt to draw out some activity. They both read scripture from both the Bible and some type of demonic prayer. It didn't exactly take long before they started to hear odd noises from both the roof and ground floor.
Govern the day and the smaller one to govern the night. Hey, did you hear something? Like downstairs? What is that? No, there's like an animal. Like a fucking crow? It sounds like scratching though, right? Roof. That sounded big. That wasn't like a squirrel or a rat.
After hearing what sounded like scratching noises coming from above, they then made their way downstairs to investigate the sounds further. Both Tanner and Casey then hear what sounds like a loud thud, followed by this.
What the fuck was that? That was big. That sounded like something jumped right there, eh? You think that's an animal? Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck, bro? Did you feel that?
Both men hear what sounds like footsteps running down the stairs. However, there's obviously no one there. Frightened by this, the two men move on and decide to separate in order to save time filming the rest of the video. Tanner ends up going to a cemetery and Casey, well, he goes to a church. While exploring that church, Casey unknowingly captures what a few dozen of their viewers think could be an anomaly, like this strange rabbit-like shadow that is seen gliding along the ground. Other weird things happen, such as weird spirit box responses, drumming sounds from the woods, and chanting that just couldn't be explained by the guys. However, for all of this and much more, you'll have to check out their channel. If you didn't already know, Tanner and Casey produce some of the creepiest content out there. Of course, once again, you'll find all of that over on their channel, MindSeed TV. Paranormal Nightmares. This next video comes to us from a woman named Kathy Gaulinger. Her and her family believe that the house they moved into a few years back is possibly haunted by a mischievous spirit. Kathy started uploading her odd occurrences from in and around her house to her TikTok page, KittyK38. However, due to popular demand and many people requesting more and more content from the family's house, Kathy has since started uploading additional content and live streams to a YouTube channel they've named Paranormal Nightmares. I've featured her and her page before when she caught some really strange and just plain creepy things on camera from within her basement. Fast forward a couple of months later and it seems as if the supposed paranormal activity has only increased with time. In the past few weeks, it seems as if whatever is in their house has only become stronger. Kathy was doing some laundry one night when she started hearing her chimes moving in the basement. She went down to check it out and recorded this.
Oh my god. Guys, Jaden isn't home. There's nobody down here. Look at the cat. Oh my god.
After witnessing her chimes swaying back and forward, seemingly by themselves, Kathy hears what sounds like a tapping sound coming from her daughter's bedroom. She enters the room only to find that there is no one in there. She checks behind the door and sees nothing. A black ball then falls from the bedroom closet and rolls along the floor. Confused by this, Kathy plucks up the courage to check inside the closet, but once again, there's nothing in there. On another night, Kathy is awoken to the sound of banging noises coming from the kitchen. Being a TikToker at heart, she grabs her phone and starts recording. The following is what she captured.
What in the hell? Jamie's still asleep. Oh my god, oh my god. These cupboards, I'm so afraid of them opening. I'm just gonna shut the water off here. Oh my god. I just shut that off and that is rolling. Look at this thing. It's rocking back and forth. Oh my god. Leave me alone. Jamie?
In addition to this, Kathy, her husband, and her daughter have all experienced many odd things similar to this over the months. Kathy's viewers have all suggested that she do or try different things to rid her house of this supposed spirit. But is all of this even real? Some people think it is, others think it's nothing more than a 10-month-long practical prank on her viewers. Let me know what your thoughts are on this on the comments down below. The House of the Witch. Content creators from Russia have recently been producing some pretty convincing content within the paranormal niche in the last couple of years. Dark Ghost Paranormal is a great example of that. The Russian YouTube channel started uploading in October of 2019 and has already gained quite a large following. It seems like many Russian, Ukrainian, and other nearby European countries have a fascination with witches, or at least a strong belief in them. The last creepy, if you will, Russian YouTube channel that I featured on here was almost entirely created around the idea of a small little house supposedly haunted by a witch. This video is very similar. It shows the one and only creator of Dark Ghost Paranormal spending the night in a small abandoned, worn-down cottage-like house in the woods. The video starts off with the Russian ghost hunter explaining where he is and what equipment he's just set up. About 4 or 5 minutes into the video, the first of many strange things start to happen.
Сейчас, друзья, снова был хрип, и в данный момент вот удар, будто бы что-то об стол бьется, то ли дверца. Скрывается.
Not long after hearing this, from the next room over, he explains what he's hearing when the activity starts to ramp up even more.
Вот что здесь происходит. Камеры все попадали.
Another 5 or 6 minutes pass by and he doesn't see or hear anything out of the blue. That is until about 30 minutes into the video where someone or something appears to knock on all 4 walls of the house at once. The creepy thing is, the sounds are coming from outside.
Она сейчас здесь? Я могу вам чем-нибудь помочь? Это вы такие издаете звуки? Эта ведьма мне может чем-нибудь навредить?
Confused and frightened by this, the ghost hunter calls out, presumably to ask who's out there. And, of course, he gets no response. Some time passes by and the brave paranormal explorer continues to keep his composure throughout the night. It's not until almost the end of the video where he hears something moving, and this time from within the house.
Собирал вещи. В шкафу опять звук.
Witnessing the coat hangers moving seemingly by themselves, our Russian paranormal explorer is then convinced to call it a night. He eventually packs up and gets out of there. I've translated many of his comments through Google Translate, and most people seem to believe what he recorded is legit. My question is, do you believe what he saw in this video is real, or is it simply just him and a friend doing what they have to do for a good video? You believe what you want. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications. Five screepy, eh?